Next guest says it's not fair. She is a track and field athlete who used to be the fastest girl in high school in Connecticut, but then she started losing to biological boys who identified as girls and competed against her.
The girls' track and field championships in Connecticut earlier this month, coming in first and second place respectively. The international governing body over track and field announcing a ban that prevents transgender athletes from participating in female events after going through male puberty.
Many believe there is insufficient evidence that trans women do not retain advantage over biological.
Brent, Sarah, this lawsuit was filed on behalf of 4 former high school athletes who claim that they missed out on wins and scholarship opportunities because they had to compete against 2 transgender athletes. Today's decision affirmed a lower court's dismissal of the case, saying that those claims were speculative.
At the end of the day, reducing a testosterone level is not going to cut it, because women are so much more than a testosterone level. Physiologically, periods, whole other discussion.
Well, that is certainly not.
In 2012, Lance Armstrong was stripped of all of his Tour de France titles. He was banned from the sport of professional cycling because they said he had an unfair advantage because he had been doping.
The 17-year-old Dallas area high school student won the title of champion in the girls' state wrestling competition Saturday. A mix of cheers and boos directed at the wrestler as he fell to his knees, appearing to soak in the wind.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dem Divine YouTube channel. We are here with another amazing video. This video will discuss why transgender people have an advantage in competitive sports. In the United States, the transgender population is estimated to be around 1.14% of the adult population, or about 3 million people. Should such a small community affect all of the athletes in the world? Lance Armstrong was stripped of all of his Tour de France titles for drug doping. Like Lance Armstrong, all transgender athletes are using performance-enhancing drugs. Although most Democrats do not agree with every policy that has been enforced in regard to the transgender community, the majority of people accept that trans adults should be given the right to choose the way that they want to present themselves. I am a cyclist. The media coverage of transgender athletes in cycling is very underwhelming. There are many more transgender athletes competing in cycling than people are led to believe. Many people have witnessed trans women in cycling who compete and do not reveal their transgender status to anyone. But it is obvious that they are transgender. I believe that transgender women have been doing this for years, and it is very unfair. Hormone replacement therapy does not equate to being born female. Most of the transgender women that I've seen on the mountain bike trails actually outperform many of the men in cycling. They are born male and compete on a professional level. Many people disregard taking estrogen as an advantage, but it is. Estrogen has actually been proven to increase the production of other hormones when taken by athletes who are born male. Estrogen is known to stimulate growth hormone secretion by decreasing liver secretion of insulin-like growth factor, resulting in stimulation of the pituitary to synthesize and secrete growth hormone. Estrogen is also known to induce the production of growth factors such as EGF, IGF-1, and TGF-A. This process is very similar to taking the WADA-banned substance growth hormone. Transgender men, females who transition into males, also have an unfair advantage. One of the first transgender triathlete men to come out in cycling, Chris Mosier, made it all the way to the Team USA Sprint Duathlon men's team. Most people would not believe that a female who takes hormones could actually make it that far. But the first woman to come out as a transgender male made it to Team USA. Women naturally have lighter bones than men. A shorter and lighter torso, when combined with added muscle mass from testosterone injections, can actually be very advantageous in endurance sports. Testosterone also increases red blood cell counts, similar to estrogen. This is very advantageous in cycling. Chris Mosier is a transgender man. He was born a female and took male hormones in order to become a transgender male. Chris Mosier was very successful after his transition once the male hormones were introduced. He became so successful that he actually made the male team. Team USA is one of the best teams in the world. Testosterone is banned in cycling because it increases muscle mass, red blood cell counts, and affects other hormones in the body. In a study, testosterone administration raised mean testosterone levels into the mid-normal range for young men and resulted in an increase in red blood cells that was accompanied by an increase in serum EPO. Increased red blood cells help cyclists and runners significantly. Blood doping is one of the reasons that Lance Armstrong was banned from cycling. He was illegally boosting his red blood cell count by injecting himself with extra red blood cells. How can the Olympic committees and governments allow transgenders to compete in sports? My answer is that they have not done enough research. They seem to be afraid to say no. Is taking additional hormones fair to other cyclists? When people use hormone replacement therapy, it isn't fair. They do not have to rest as much as normal athletes do. Clean athletes have to rest more in order to make natural hormones. Athletes who use hormone replacement therapy are bypassing much of this process. This is how doping athletes and bodybuilders who use drugs like testosterone seem to be able to recover almost overnight and train even harder the next day. Athletes who dope do not have to rest as much as clean athletes because they are injecting additional hormones. Doping athletes' muscles can actually heal faster, and they gain an unnatural advantage from this assistance. I have witnessed clean cyclists take a week to recover from a long ride. Dopers can ride every day without taking as many days off. Believe me, I have seen it. Hormone replacement boosts EPO significantly, which can help endurance racers who are born male to beat cisgender women. Some trans women even take progesterone, which is androgenic, similar to testosterone. Has any of this been regulated by WADA or university sports regulations? I was told that WADA cannot test all of the athletes every race, because testing costs too much to test every athlete. This is one of the ways transgender athletes can bypass regulations. Hormone therapy can increase trans women's endurance due to additional estrogen, which causes an increase in growth hormone and red blood cell counts. Estrogen may also help with shorter, high-intensity workouts. Studies even suggest that your anaerobic capacity is strongest when estrogen levels peak. In other words, higher estrogen seems to give your endurance and cardio levels a boost. Some people falsely believe that estrogen does not increase athletic performance, but additional estrogen is proven to boost the production of other hormones significantly in the human body. The sports regulators simply did not do enough research on the effects of hormone replacement therapy in sports before allowing transgender women to compete. It is absolutely ridiculous that transgender women are competing in women's sports. Many people did not believe that female-to-male transgenders would pose a danger to male athletes. Although transgender people's rights to medical care that the Biden-Harris administration fought for should be protected, many people believe that they should never have been allowed to participate in sports with cisgender athletes. Transgender people deserve to have their rights protected, and their transgender status should be acknowledged by the government. Here's where there's a disconnect. The mainstream media lost touch with the beliefs of the majority of Americans. Most Americans do not believe that transgender people should have been allowed to participate in high school, collegiate, and Olympic-level sports. Like Lance Armstrong, transgender people who take hormones should not be able to participate in sanctioned sports against cisgender athletes, because allowing them to do so takes away the rights of other athletes who have trained all of their lives for the opportunity to compete. The mainstream media and left-wing extremists lost touch with reality by allowing transgender women to ruin many women's sports competitions. This was the nail in the coffin that pushed many voters to vote the other way. Women have also lost touch with reality. It is our responsibility to protect our rights as women. In recent years, the media has allowed extreme misogyny to brainwash the masses. We had to get used to women being degraded on national television. Women are affected more by transgenders in sports because there are more transgender females who took titles from women. Watch this video of Donald Trump interacting with women.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
You said locker room banter. You described kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals. That is sexual assault. You brag that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever...
He's the devil. Hillary Clinton is a bigot. Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign. But I'm surging with women. I watched this idiot Lindsey Graham on television today, and he calls me a jackass. He's a jackass. Well, I think the only card she has is the woman's card. She's got nothing else going. And frankly, if Hillary Clinton were a man, such a nasty woman.
Trust fund. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell. Bill Clinton, far worse. Mine are words, and his was action. I'm going to take such good care of women's health care issues, you won't even believe it.
You believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail. This is the legacy of Hillary Clinton. Death, destruction, terrorism, and weakness. You take a look at her words. You tell me what you think. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Anybody you'd like to apologize to right now yourself?
No.
No?